Hey everybody out there in Facebook land, Brian Wallace, president and founder of NowSourcing, streaming at you live this Tuesday the 23rd, a little bit before 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Joined here today at NowSourcing headquarters with Nick Mattingly.
What's going on?
The founder and CEO of Switcher Studio. If you guys don't know who he is and what he's about, well, we're going to do a little tour of all this great stuff he has set up right now. So there's just this insane amount of cameras that are watching my every move, and he'll get into that. I should, zoom around here for a second so we can take a look.
We'll give him the UI.
There we go.
So you can see we've got a couple cameras set up. Hey, here we go. We'll bounce around. It'll be fun.
It's going to be cool. So if everybody can stop messaging me now, then there we go. Okay, sweet. It's just clearing some notifications. So back to this. So Nick and I were just talking about all sorts of video because they have an incredible product that is going to change the face of how you use video, because video is really interesting. Video is, I would argue, still in its infancy because there's still broadband issues, there's still mobile issues, there's still equipment issues, software issues.
It's hard.
All sorts of compatibility things. And a lot of people are chicken. A lot of people don't like to be on video. So I'm constantly meeting people wherever I go. And one of the first things I say is, hey, I have a daily video show. How would you like to be on with me? And you should see their faces. They're like, they cringe and like they like run away from the camera like I have it on all the time or something. And it's horrifying to some people because a lot of people, they're not public speakers. They're afraid of how they're going to sound, how they're going to look. It's not that I don't care, it's just that I'm good at it and I feel confident in my abilities. And the things that I talk about with you guys are constantly playing through my head. Hey, Nathan, good to see you, man. So
one of the things we talked about earlier is Periscope has 10 million users.
Right, exactly.
That is not 10 million people broadcasting.
Not even close. How many would you say even? Such a fraction.
I mean, 99% are so afraid to hit broadcast. They're consuming. They're watching.
Totally.
They're looking for people that are excited about something that they share an interest in, and it's really easy to go live using something like Facebook Live or Periscope. And did you know YouTube has live video? But
I knew it. I've always been a YouTube consumer. So my love affair with video has really been this year. I feel like the live aspect of it is much more appealing to me because I have a lot of thoughts that I'm always thinking about. It doesn't have to be perfect and polished. I kind of hate those videos, and I like it to be a little bit more raw, a little bit more, hey, this isn't staged. Sometimes the internet's going to drop. Sometimes it's not going to be perfect and everything. I like that a lot better. I mean, maybe that's weird. That's me. But a lot of people are like, wow, you're really onto something. It's like, yeah, I know. I really kind of thought this through, and this is it. And if you look at it, so many publishers out there. So, Upworthy's been doing tons of Facebook video. I remember they, in like 3 months, went from like nothing to 300 million video views. That's insane. You know how powerful that is? Huffington Post is doing tons of it. The Verge, if you're familiar with that publication, is part of Vox. They have been doing a lot of Facebook Live stuff, which is really interesting. Very few brands I've noticed are actually doing that. Then you have people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Robert Scoble's doing a lot of stuff on there. So there's so many people that are getting into this game. The world of live video is about to get a lot bigger than it is. And there's different kinds of audiences, right? So you've got your Periscope audience, there's the Facebook Live audience, which is kind of your little walled garden, cultivated kind of audience. And then you've got other stuff too. So you've got Blab, so you guys probably see me doing that once or twice a week. That's kind of more long form conversational talk show kinds of stuff. But, YouTube Live is a whole other thing, and I'm no expert at it. I've seen some. I've never participated in one. I've never run one. But tell us a little bit about
Yeah, I mean,
YouTube Live.
Well, looking at any of these platforms, they're all great in unique ways.
Right.
Facebook, you can broadcast to your followers, to your friends, and they can see that. They do archive your video, so it's available after the fact, and it can live on. If people are commenting now, you could jump in on the conversation tomorrow and
that's super useful.
Build off of the thread that's already there.
Which is also interconnected with Google Plus and all that too, which is smart.
Facebook Live technically is limited to 30 minutes per session or broadcast. I don't think they're really enforcing that right now, but
I didn't know that.
According to their documentation, it's limited to 30 minutes. So that kind of plays into the social kind of short form content.
Right.
Periscope is Twitter's live video solution.
Yep.
And it's spontaneous. People are broadcasting the world through their eyes. That's their tagline. It's on their website.
Very true.
And it's almost reactionary in a lot of cases. There are people that will schedule content. The ones that are really successful are making video very often. But I was at the Periscope Summit in San Francisco last month, and hundreds of people in the same room, all looking at the same stage, same person talking, and everyone's broadcasting. Everyone has their phone up. And they're sharing this experience with their followers.
That's amazing.
Periscope, unfortunately, doesn't really archive content. It's there for a little bit. There's services like Catch
save it down to camera roll or
that push it to YouTube where it lives afterwards. They're starting to open up. They have a cool integration with GoPro. They're doing more. Nice. One of the cool pieces of Periscope is that the comments are actually burned into the content, so there's context for it. Whereas on Facebook, it's chat or it's kind of a separate thread. So if you watch the video afterwards, it's not necessarily going to match up with the moment or instance where that comment was made.
Well, Facebook's interesting because it actually does have developer APIs, so you can have Facebook comments live on. So even if you have a blog, you can integrate Facebook comments.
Make it what you want.
Right. So Facebook's figured out some of that, but I think YouTube, to your point, has made that a little bit better. As opposed to...
So YouTube's been the king of online video for the past 10 years.
No doubt.
If you're doing live video in the first place, it's probably going to end up on YouTube after the fact anyways. That's just where people are. It's the world's second largest search engine.
It's just mind-boggling.
But YouTube doesn't care where that content comes from. They just want video to get uploaded to them. So you have people that make movies or do interviews or do talk shows and upload it, or sporting events. It's a channel. It's a place to consume and watch. But in the past year, 2 years, YouTube has rolled out live functionality where people can broadcast in real time.
Right.
But it's been really complicated, and you've had to use a computer with traditional encoders and video streaming setups to preview streams and publish it, and it's just this giant mess. It's a nightmare.
And for those of you who don't realize what we're broadcasting off of right now, we are just sitting on my iPhone 6, regular, not the large Jumbotron one. And it's just perched on top of my laptop. It's pretty funny.
You don't even have to spend $30 on a tripod.
You don't need to do anything, right? I mean, all I do is I can just spontaneously do it. Sometimes I'll give you guys a little bit of a warning, but it's not network television anymore, guys. Like, you can just do it whenever. YouTube's kind of an interesting happy medium. So I think a lot of the more successful YouTubers, they will, let's say every Friday, people kind of know that there's a regularity. They may have some other stuff that's kind of off script. But those guys are just ruling the world.
Yeah, I mean, Red and Link is a great example.
Yeah.
They're making videos that go up daily. I think they come on at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Or it's on a schedule, and they're producing content regularly. And they've been able to grow an audience because they're consistent, because they're making good quality content. It's not... viral video isn't always just this one-off thing that you happen to catch on your camera.
It's just getting lucky.
People that are growing audiences are making good content, and they're making it consistently. And eventually, that grows. It catches fire. You can do more.
Very true.
But there's been the spectrum in how we create content, from point and shoot, just pulling out your camera and recording. And then maybe that video never leaves your phone. You just captured it, and then you don't even look at it. To TV style productions. It's multiple cameras and lots of equipment, and you've got a 5-person staff that's running it. And we've developed a product with Switcher Studio that's probably 80% of the functionality at that top tier kind of TV style production level, using hardware you already have, just iPhones and iPads. There's no barrier to entry. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars before your first broadcast.
Which is amazing. Which basically, guys, means any one of you can be a broadcaster. You can do it today in kind of a crappy way with just your phone and not all this fancy stuff that Nick and team are developing. But you guys, we need to turn this camera around just so you can see what this room looks like right now. So bear with us a second while I pick this up and move us around. So check this out. So now narrate this for a second.
Okay. So we have a camera across the room that's set up on Brian. And this is a fun mobile media case made by a company called iOgrapher. It's like photographer, videographer, but it allows you to take your iPhone or iPad and get it on a tripod. If you don't have a tripod, it has handles. You can do lights, lenses, microphones.
And if you don't have a tripod, sometimes you can just put it on my office stapler, apparently. But hey, whatever works.
So these things are very affordable, and they make these devices really good video tools. They basically look like a camera.
Totally. All right, let's keep going around the room. This is coffee. That's the other necessary ingredient. If you don't have that, I don't know what to tell you. This is my laptop where I'm chatting with a lot of you guys right now. This is a mouse. They're going to go away soon. Don't worry. This is Nick's coffee.
It's empty.
See, Nick's on his game. And hey, thanks for joining, Thomas, John, Amanda.
So this is a fun little Manfrotto tripod. I think they're like $15-20.
That's a beautiful looking thing.
It
looks
fits
like you
in my
can
bag.
catch some fish with it or something.
Awesome designed.
It's beautiful, guys.
Also easy to carry around. We're not a hardware company. You can find these things. There's other alternatives. But this is another camera that's being used part of our production. We've got both of us framed up. And then we'll also have my computer that we're bringing.
You gotta love live video, guys. Apparently, my iPhone thought that it should open Wallet and ask it for permission right now. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, but that's really weird.
You just bought some coffee for someone else.
Yeah, apparently. Please stop hacking the broadcast, guys. Be nice. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is my MacBook, and we have a screen sharing application called SwitcherCast that basically mirrors your display. It makes it show up like a camera in our software, in our product. And then this is just another iPad, and it's been our main mixer
there we go. Yep.
or switcher, and you can see all of the sources that we just walked around the room and showed, and we can start to make edits on the fly. So as I cut from one camera to the next, this is being captured or recorded so we can upload later, or we can also broadcast. And we've made YouTube Live really easy, where you can sync with your Google account, and it's basically one-tap publishing. Go live with YouTube now, or if you want to dial in and schedule events, say if it's public, private, unlisted, anything you could do on the YouTube event creator through their website, you can do within Switcher Studio.
It's crazy. I'm kind of speechless when it comes to this. Here, let's zoom in on that frame there. So here's some graphic elements pieces.
So January, I was at the Periscope Summit in San Francisco. We recorded some of the sessions, talked with Robert Scoble, but we prepped graphics for that particular event. So we had a welcome graphic that we would queue up.
And I'm going to tag Robert on this later so you can check this out, because I don't think he's seen some of the stuff that you've been up to lately. So
and we had title cards for speakers that we could queue up. We also were able to do overlays. So if we had a speaker, this one is me, but if we had a lower third with someone's name, we could prep that graphic and make it part of the broadcast. And
can you add me like on the fly?
Right now, images have to be prepped in advance, so it's more event driven. We're planning to be somewhere.
Text to it quickly?
We're building out remote management tools where from your online account, someone could upload graphics or assets for your brand.
That's still insane, though.
Or do live edits for lower thirds or scoreboards. And it'll also be part of the app experience. But that's something that's really unique about Switcher, is that it's so much more than an app.
Right.
By subscribing to Switcher, you get access to the features and functionality that are available on the iPhone and iPad, but also desktop applications for bringing in your computer or pushing files into post-editing software where everything's synced and every cut and transition is already available.
Nice.
Dedicated support and cloud services for remote management, so you can control certain aspects of the app.
Right. And
it's this combination of all of these pieces that make it such a powerful content creation tool.
It's kind of insane. Yeah, speechless, man.
So YouTube Live, if you haven't tried it out, download Switcher Studio. There's a 7-day trial for the pro version, full access. You can try everything out that's there. Sync with your YouTube or Google account, and you can start broadcasting on YouTube Live. If you don't want to do live content, there are very awesome recording capabilities where you can do super high quality video. There's actually some TV stations recording. We actually have a couple community TV stations that are producing content using director mode in Switcher Studio and putting it on cable television.
It's just insane. I feel like this is the kind of app and ecosystem of different hardware mixes that this is the kind of thing that you guys have to see for yourself. It's a little difficult to explain until you actually see it for yourself, until you see the power of it. And thanks for joining, Aaron. And Amanda had a question asking if it works on Android.
So today, Switcher is iOS only, iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch. iPod Touch starts at $200, same camera as the iPhone 6. Eventually, we'll have support for other devices, but in order to build this product and really provide the type of support and experience that we've wanted, we started with iOS.
But you guys, if you're on Android, you know that everyone does that. So come on, you're going to be okay, Amanda. And Aaron is here. Yeah.
Even without getting into the multi-camera component,
it is awesome, Aaron.
Which is a really cool differentiator for Switcher. Using just the one device, you can have the built-in camera, you can add photos or graphics, or even bring in your computer as a source. So it starts to give it a lot of movement. It makes it for a much more dynamic and watchable video. So just as a general production tool, using Switcher on the front end of whatever you're making, whether it's recorded or live, it's going to be a lot better product. It's going to be something that is maybe a little bit easier to set through or watch because it emulates the TV experience. Every 5 seconds, they're cutting to another angle.
It's so true. And, you know, the good side of live and the good side of, you know, everybody being able to be a producer, even without Switcher, you know, just straight up on your phone, is, wow, I can instantly be a media personality, but it sucks, right? So, like, let's not forget that, like, the other side of it, like, to have a TV production studio, it may be very costly, but it's going to be very clean and very polished, and that's really the power of this, right? That for very low dollars, you are able to record so much better stuff, right? And Aaron and Amanda, you should definitely, for your line of business, I'm going to connect you guys later. You really should check it out. And hey, David, it is amazing. It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, drop me a line. We'll hook you up.
Definitely. So that's a good question. So no problem, Aaron. Is it for creatives or more for business?
Yeah, so this is really interesting. We actually launched the product over a year ago, but we were largely under the radar. It's only in the past 3 or 4 months that we've really started to broadcast ourselves and talk more about Switcher Studio. But we've seen people that come from traditional broadcast or even local radio stations that are already at the basketball game or doing local government meetings that are, you know, why don't we set up a camera? This just kind of makes sense. It's something we should do. It's been used for education, for workshops, for training, concert productions. We've even had customers that have done streams for concerts where people make donations, and
that's crazy.
They're making money that they're leaving at the door because the room's already at capacity.
Right.
There's people that have never made video before, ever. It's their first time, and day one they're figuring it out.
That's got to be so rewarding.
I mean, it's the whole gamut. It's so cool to see how people have used this product, and they've used it in ways we've never even imagined. There's a school in Australia that's using it for visually impaired students.
Amazing.
So
very cool.
They're giving kids their own screen to see or putting it up on a projector. There's a group that's used it for theater staging. So are our lights right? Are our markers where they need to be on stage? They're not even recording. They're not even broadcasting. It's just using it as a tool to frame up the space.
And that's what's great once you start rolling stuff out into the wild. You know, you look at places like Twitter. For those of you who don't remember the history of Twitter, it was never meant to be like it is today. Say what you will. But, you know, the retweet is something that evolved out of the crowd. It's kind of crazy. And Aaron wants to write about it, so definitely you guys need to hook up. And Aaron's also saying, you had me at making YouTube Live easier. Yeah, you know, I think YouTube Live, it's either people don't know that you can do it or they have the perception that it's really difficult to do. And this, look, just the fact that this makes it easier is a reason that you should try this right away. So where can people find this and how do they get started?
Yeah, so there's 2 flavors of Switcher. Switcher Basic is free to use for 30 minutes a day.
Oh, nice.
It doesn't have the YouTube Easy button. We built that out as a cloud service so we can keep tweaking it and pushing updates and improve it without having to wait for Apple to push out an update.
Right.
So with Switcher Pro, you can sync with your Google or YouTube account, and you also get access to more of the Pro features or functionality. But you can create a 7-day trial on our website, switcherstudio.com.
Nice. No
credit card. Just get in there, try it, take it for a spin. And if you want to stick with it, it's $25 a month. And that's access to everything. The app for iPhone and iPad, desktop screen sharing applications, Switcher Media Manager for viewing your files and pushing them in the Final Cut, dedicated support, and all the cloud services that we've talked about.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys all spend more than that at Starbucks every month, or maybe even every week, and you know it, especially with that new loyalty thing that they're rolling out. You're all going to be addicted. So if you could just, like, not have all the... What about PayPal?
It's through Stripe, so anything that they take.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, you guys definitely have to check it out. And we'll post the links as soon as we're wrapping this up. We'll post links on where to sign up for all that. I don't know if you saw Nick's screen before, but that's actually an infographic we did together talking about like the history of video and where Switcher's part to play in the story is. We'll post that in here too. So do you guys have any questions? I appreciate you all jumping on. We didn't really have a long time to announce before this. I basically said, hey, Nick, let's just tell people we're going to do it in 5 minutes. So does anybody have questions for myself or for Nick? Hey, John. Hey, Curtis. You're on the site now. Sweet.
All right.
So we've been going about 20 minutes, so we're going to wrap things up. If you guys don't have any questions, or if you do have questions, I'll hang on a little after the recording is done. So happy to answer any questions. Nick and I are going to hang out for a little bit.
You can also message support@switcherstudio.com if you have any technical questions or you want to learn more before you dive in. We've got a really awesome team. We're here to help.
Awesome. And Curtis, it's switcherstudio.com. Okay? And we'll post all those links in just a sec. All right. Aaron has a question. What made you come up with it? What's the inspiration?
Prior to starting Switcher Studio, me and one of our partners did consulting for groups that wanted to do online video. What equipment do you need? Where do you send it? How do you make it easy for people to watch? Do I need a website, an app?
Right.
It was really easy for people to get excited about making more content, about making better content, but it's so expensive. There's so much equipment involved. People are having to move around budgets and hire people just to
all day.
Run all this gear.
Right.
And we were looking for a way to make it easier for people to say yes, to start streaming and start making more better content. And it didn't exist. So we made it.
And this is actually, guys, how all good innovation happens. People that are smart and well-practiced see something wrong with how things are going right now, and they seek to make it better. We don't just go read some, top publications, top 10 list of the cool careers of the future. We see something wrong and we fix it. That's how you know who's an entrepreneur and who just wants to be an entrepreneur and have their 4-hour work week and sit on the beach and drink pina coladas. So there's like one guy that does that, and then everybody else reads about it. And let's see, what else do we have here? John.
Keep the comments coming. Yep. I'll jump in on the thread afterwards. If there's anything we don't answer here, we'll keep it going.
So John has a question here. So it works with computers. Can you use a Windows tablet?
It's iOS only, so iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch.
Okay.
Eventually we'll have Android support. Windows screen sharing is on the way. It's currently Mac only, but that's a big request from educational uses or business.
Right.
So
it's a good part.
We're just going to keep making it better. We'll never be done with this thing.
Yeah,
and there might be a few other flavors of Switcher that pop up.
Beautiful.
So
sounds great. So if there aren't any other questions, Nick and I are going to take a break. We're going to drop in some links. And thank you all so much for joining.
All right.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. All right. See you guys.